Leonardo da Vinci once said that time waits just long enough for those who use it. So the question is, what are you doing with your time? We all have 24 hours in a day. What are you doing with your time? Are you building your dream? Or are you helping someone else build theirs? Are you putting in the work every single day, every single moment of now? Are you planning for your future? They say planning is bringing the future into the present so you can do something about it now. So the question is this: what are you doing with your time? Remember, the time is always now.
And thank you for joining me for the Time Is Always Now podcast. This is a podcast that is dedicated to helping people get past their excuses, helping people get past saying I'm going to do it someday or one day and saying I'm going to do it right now because this is the only time that we have. So thank you for joining me for the Time Is Always Now podcast. If you'd like to donate to the podcast, by all means you can do so. Just go to my website. It's terenceyoungnow.com. You can donate there, and I appreciate you doing that. So thank you in advance for donating to the podcast. We are up to episode, I believe, 67, maybe even 68. We'll see in a minute. But I'm so excited about having this podcast and be able to share these messages of inspiration and hope and encouragement to all people. So remember to share the podcast out to your friends, to your family, just to get that message out. I have a group called the Time Is Always Now Facebook group. So if you haven't joined us over there, by all means, join us over there. It is a wonderful group to get inspiration and encouragement for living your life to the fullest right now. If you're first time listening, if you don't know who I am, my name is Terence Young. I go by TY. I'm a mindset coach, a new thought transformational speaker and author, a runner, and a workshop facilitator. So I help people get past those blocks that stop them from moving forward in their life. Stop them from saying, you know what, someday, one day I'm going to do this, instead of saying right now. I help people harness the power in the eternal moment of now. That's what it's about. So every week we have a theme in the Time Is Always Now Facebook group. This week the theme is time. So one of my favorite subjects, of course. So I'm sharing some ideas about how we can utilize our time better. Everything in this podcast is always about how we can tangibly use what we talk about in our lives right here, right now. Not some ethereal thought that you think about and you may do 10 years from now. No. Everything that I talk about, everything that I share, I want to share with you tangible things you can do to change your life right now. So I've been sharing some quotes and things during the week on the subject of time management, how we do that. So I'm going to share some ideas about that with you today for this podcast. So yes. So the first thing, I posted a quote earlier. It says, there is no right time, only time and what you choose to do with it. That one's good. There is no right time. I speak about this all the time. And I love sharing it with people because there is no, if 10 people, I guarantee you there's somebody that's telling you that they can't do something because it's not the right time. And if you don't know anybody, 10 people, then you know what? You might be that person that you're telling somebody else that it's not the right time for you to start the workout plan, start the new diet, start the business, go jump out of an airplane, whatever it is. You're waiting on the right time. And it's so powerful to share with people that there is no such thing as right time. There's just right now. And then we get multiple nows over and over and over again. I guarantee if you think back in your life, you can think about a situation for yourself where you were waiting on the right time, or a situation where you see someone else and they've been waiting on the right time, and you can look at it and say, wow, it's been 5 years, they've been saying the exact same thing. It's been 10 years, they've been saying the exact same thing. I know people that have done it, and I've done it myself too. So I'm preaching to the choir as well. I've done it too. But what happens is, because I teach this, I catch myself when I do it. I catch myself saying, it's not the right time to contact that person about, speaking there, or doing, having an opportunity to do music there, or whatever the case may be. No, it is the right time. It's right now. If you don't ask, the answer is always going to be no. So there is no such thing as the right time. So I want you to apply that to your life. I want you to think about it and say, what in my life have I been waiting on the right time? What is it? Is it in my relationships? Is it in my finances? Is it in my career? Is it in my education? Is there something in my life where I've been waiting, telling myself over and over and over again, it's just not the right time? We have to change that. How do you change that? By understanding the eternal concept that it'll never be a right time. How do you change that? By looking back into your own psyche, your own mindset, your own history, and saying and recognizing there are things in your life where, man, I said that 5 years ago. Here I am 5 years later, and I still haven't done it. Still saying it's not the right time. The right time ends up being never. So find that thing in your life where you can really analyze what's going on in your life and say, have I been saying it's not the right time for the last 5 years, or maybe the last 6 months, or the last year, or the last 10 years, or the last 20 years? Not the right time many times ends up being never. So just remember that. There's no such thing as the right time. It's always now. It's just your priorities. What do you choose to prioritize? That's what's important. What you choose to do with your time. Very important. So that's the first one. Second one is this. Nobody is too busy. It's just a matter of priorities, which is exactly where I was going. Nobody's too busy. You ever had that person that you called and they say they're too busy to talk? Or they don't answer your call, they don't answer your text, they're too busy? They're not too busy. They're not prioritizing your phone call or your text. They're responding to somebody else's phone call and somebody else's text. It's what you choose to prioritize. And I don't say this as a bad thing. We just need to understand that nobody's too busy. Because what we need to understand is this. We prioritize in our minds what's important to us. Right? I go running. I'm not even going to say it, not right now. But anyway, when I go running or working out or whatever I do, people say, well, how do you find the time to do it? I don't find the time to do it. I make the time to do it because it's a priority to me. I remember talking to my coworkers years ago, and they would say, how do you find the time to go run 10 miles before work? And I say, it's easy. I just get up at 5:30, I'm out the door by 6, I'm done by 7:30, I'm in the shower and out the house, and I'm at work by 9. Easy. It's a priority to me, so I do it. And I'm like, wow, how do you find all that time? We all have the same amount of time. We all have 24 hours in a day. So remember, you prioritize what's important to you. You're not too busy to get something done. You're not too busy to start a new workout. You're not too busy to start your business. You are prioritizing other things over that thing. So how do we gather a hold of that? And get clear on what your priorities are. This is the time to sit down, you write down your goals and your aspirations and say, what do I want? Why do I want it? It's important. How am I going to get there? We've had this discussion like 2 or 3 weeks. Now that you're clear, when you're clear about what you want, why you want it, and how you're going to get there, you've given yourself your priorities. Now it's up to you to spend your time on those priorities. It's one thing to talk about it. It's another thing to be about it. So you got to do it too, right? That brings in discipline and being consistent. Being disciplined and being consistent. We talked about that many times. But you're not too busy. And whoever you're talking about or asking about or wondering about, they're not too busy either. They're prioritizing what's important to them. You're prioritizing what's important to you. So get clear on what is important to you and use your time on that. That is so important. If you want to reach the highest level of excellence in whatever you do, you have got to get clear about what you want and then spend your time on that as a priority. And you will watch yourself rise. Watch yourself get better. Everything will improve when you get clear about what you want and spend your time on your priorities. Many people spend a lot of time on things that aren't that important, that don't advance them forward, that don't move them forward. So get clear about what you really want. A lot of people, here's the thing, people write down goals and say they have these goals, and then if you ask them, okay, what have you done today to take you towards your goal? Well, nothing today. What have you done this week to take you towards your goal? Well, technically nothing this week. What have you done this month to take you towards your goal? These are great questions to ask yourself. You should ask yourself this question every single day. What have I done today that's bringing me closer to my goal, the priority that I said was important to me? You're not too busy. Find your priorities. Find what's important to you. Spend your time on that. And spend less time on things that aren't important. I can't tell you what that is, but you know what that is. But the key is finding those questions or asking yourself those questions daily. What I'm doing right now, surfing Facebook or Twitter or doing a TikTok video, is that really helping me get to did I spend 5 hours creating a TikTok video dancing today? Is that taking me towards my goal? Now here's the thing, maybe you're a dancer and then maybe that is, right? If you're a dancer and that's what the dancers do, so you put TikTok videos of dancing to gain a following, then that is a priority. But maybe it's not a priority for you, but you still spent 3 or 4 hours creating a dance TikTok video because you like the dance TikTok video. Maybe you could take that 3 or 4 hours and reallocate it towards your priorities. You're not too busy. It's just a matter of priorities. So cool. Number 3, don't watch the clock. Do like it does and keep moving. I love that. I love that. I always have these conversations about my watches when I run into people and they'll ask me the inevitable question, does it tell the real time? And I'm like, it's the most accurate watch there ever was because there is no other time but now. All we get is a consecutive nows, one right after the other. Continue nows all the time. It's never wrong. This watch is never wrong. It's always right because there is no other time. If you want to move forward in your life, you can't wait, as we started out with, on the right time. See how the clock does? The clock keeps moving. It's never going to stop. It's never going to stop. It's never going to stop being now, and it's never going to stop. So 2 years from now, you say I'm going to start this thing when it's the right time, but 2 years from now, it's still going to be now. The only question is, will you have started? Will you have started towards your goal? You have to continue to move just like a clock. I love this quote. You can be on the right path, but if you're not moving on the right path, guess what? You're gonna get run right over by people who are moving. Think about this in the sense of the world. Everything is continuing to advance and move. And think of the companies and how they change. I was in Walmart the other day shopping, and I was talking to my mom about this, and we were talking about Oreos. Have you been to the Oreo or the cookie aisle lately and seen how many different kinds of Oreos there are? It's ridiculous. I mean, they take up like half a damn aisle now. I mean, you can't even name. I remember when there was like Oreos, and that was cookie. Now there's like 30 different kinds of Oreos. Well, why is that? Because they're continuing to advance and change and move, right? Everybody loves Oreos as they are, but there's a lot of different kinds of Oreos now, right? I love Reese's peanut butter cups. There's like 20 different kinds now. I was standing in the line and I'm seeing all these different apple pie and just crazy stuff. I'm like, well, no, I shouldn't say crazy. They're continuing to advance. They're continuing to move, right? They're continuing to move forward. Do like the clock does. Continue to move, continue to change, continue to advance, continue to get better, continue to innovate what you do. That is where our world is at. If you're not moving, you're going to get run over, even if you're on the right track. So you got to continue to do what the clock does, continue to move and continue to grow toward your goals. It's always now. 5 years from now, you know what time it's going to be? Now. It's never going to change. So use that time wisely. I love that. So first thing, there's no right time. Just time and how you choose to use it. The second one is this: nobody's too busy, just a matter of priorities. Remember, what you prioritize is what you do in your life. So it's up to you. What are you prioritizing? Third one, do like the clock does. Keep moving. You got to continue to move. You can't wait for the right time. It's not going to come. It doesn't work that way. If you do these things, if you manage your time, which more importantly is managing yourself, that will change your life. If you ever need help with this or think about wanting someone to coach you on this, I am available for one-on-one coaching as well. So if you want some one-on-one coaching about how to self-manage, it's actually a section in my book, not time management, but self-management, which leads to time management, I can help you out with that as well. So give me a contact. If you do these things, if you manage your time better, which is managing yourself better, and set those priorities, that will change your life. And then you will be able to unequivocally say, I own the now, and I have won. This is TY. Thank you for joining me for this episode of the Time Is Always Now podcast. I am signing off. Remember, the time is always now. Thank you so much for joining me again. If you want to connect with me, you can connect with me on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, on YouTube. Just simply search Terence Young, New Thought, Transformational Speaker. Or you can search Google, The Time Is Always Now. I love to connect with you, and I want to continue to inspire, encourage, and motivate you to make changes for the better. Until next time, remember, the time is always now.